Sekai! It's me, Viv, your favorite digital music fairy from the future, here to bring smiles, laughter, and hope to the present! Let's have some fun today! Woo! Here I am, joined by Kevin, Jules, Jaselle, and Casey Robertson. Hello, guys!
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. The time is here. Yes, the time is here. Right. So why don't you two introduce yourselves? Let's start off with Jules.
I am Jules Jaselle. I am the voice of Night, Journey of Dreams, and a few other things as well. I'm a voice actor and singer, so been doing it quite a while, and I don't get to do much of these interviews. Unfortunately, my schedule doesn't allow it, but I enjoy it when these opportunities do come up. So I'm happy to be here, and thanks for inviting.
Yay! Now, let's go over to Casey.
Hi, everybody. I'm Casey Robertson. I play the voice of Riella in Journey of Dreams and a few other things, just as Jules mentioned. I was a voiceover artist years and years ago. I haven't really done much lately in another life, but I'm planning on getting back into it here. Thanks for the opportunity to answer some questions and be amongst y'all.
Yay! That was a great introduction. Right. Why don't we get right into the questions? So I actually had one. This was the very first question I thought of. It's something that a lot of people weren't curious about, but it was something I, as another voice actress, was curious about. How did you guys get into voice acting, or how did you guys start voice acting? How did you get into that whole industry? Jules, you can go first.
Well, my story is a bit interesting because I actually didn't know what voiceover was. My background is professional singer, so I actually had a record deal at the time that I transitioned into voiceover that kind of didn't go in the right direction. As you may hear some horror stories in the music industry, that things just don't go as planned, or the management fails, or the label, steals all your money. It's just a bunch of different things that took place. And so I was locked in this contract musically until I was able to get out of it, that I couldn't do music for I believe it was 7 years. I was locked in. And so at that time, while I was, I came back from our promo tour, and I was pretty down. I had a girlfriend come over to try to cheer me up, and she brings me this care package, and she said, I found this flyer for a company that needed somebody that could speak Spanish because I'm bilingual. And I said, I don't understand what this is. I don't want to do it. I was just down, because you can imagine, we sign a contract and then things are going amazing, and then all of a sudden it's not what you expect. Now the last thing I want to do is I don't feel like auditioning for anything right now. So she gives me this flyer, and it says, please call this number and read, just a short little phrase or excerpt. And then I said, no, I don't want to do it, blah, 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 blah. She takes the phone, dials the number anyway, and gives me the phone and says, go. I didn't even look at what I was supposed to say. Anyway, so I did it. I was so upset with her. I was so upset.
Yeah.
Long story short, I leave the message. Apparently that was considered an audition that I had no idea what I was getting myself into. So I snap out of my being upset. I didn't want to leave a message like that on the phone for a company I didn't even know what it was. So I leave the audition, I hang up, and lo and behold, I believe that was like a Thursday or a Friday. That company called me back on Monday, Tuesday, asked me to come in. It turned out to be a company called The Learning Company, which was a really long time ago. I was still in school. I'm like, I don't know what this is. They bring me in, they invite me in. At the time, I was too young for what they needed in that particular read, but they liked something that they heard. And again, my background is music, singing, writing, recording, that whole thing. I had no idea. A voiceover, what's that? I'm like, it's cool, but I don't know. I didn't plan on it. Anyways, long story short, that turned into a job that basically lasted a few years and paid for college. I was there after school, like 3 times a week, and I ended up being on a lot of their projects. And then that particular voice director, whose name was Ned Lott, went on to work at Disney Character Voices and hired me there, and it just kind of turned into a career that I had no idea existed. So on the way to one thing, music, singing, recording, it just kind of transitioned into this amazing career that snowballed into something I had no idea. Like, it was not intended. I always tell people, I feel like voiceover picked me first.
Yeah.
And then I picked it back because I was like, oh, you're cool. I can do this. I can keep going.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was an accident, but not really, if that makes sense. I know.
Yeah, that's really awesome. That's so cool. What about you, Casey? Do you have any fun, like, stories of how you got into voice acting and whatnot?
My origin story.
Yeah, your origin story. We need the lore.
Right. Actually, it was a friend of a friend, and it was shortly after I got out of college, and I was involved in improv comedy. You know that show, Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of that. Yeah.
That. You get suggestions from the crowd, you jump up and you make a scene and try and make people laugh. Well, I was involved in a comedy club in Northern California, and the owner of that club knew a guy, and he was looking for some fresh talent. I knew nothing about voiceovers. I was always kind of a movie geek, growing up. I'd watch movies over and over and over and memorize the lines and do the voices and in my head and with my brother, and we'd go back and forth cracking each other up. And then by a chance introduction through a friend of a friend through the comedy club, I guess I made an impression, I made a connection, and here I am. We hit it off, and he just kept calling me in to read things. I kept landing parts, mostly for bad guys and good guys, and a little bit of everything in between. I just had a blast doing it. I was still working a regular job on the side. It was always just kind of a hobby. But yeah, every time I had the chance, I just jumped at the opportunity. Let it go a few years back, and life happens. I have a family now, and so. But yeah, I'm thinking about getting back into the game.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah.
No pun intended. Getting back into the game.
Yeah. Goodness. So.
Yes.
That's a really cool origin story. Yeah, I think it's funny how like both of you didn't know what it was at first, but then you guys decided to like just go into it. There's some way or another.
Just roll with the punches.
Just roll with the punches. Yeah, exactly. Would love to see more work. Someone says, yeah. Right. Next question. I did have a question from my friend Possum Tunes. Thank you for the question. So they're asking a question that's a little more character specific. Do you guys think a Riella redemption is possible under the context of either the first and second games?
I read this question and I had to do a little digging. I don't want to break any hearts, but I'm not too involved in the game. I've never played it, so that's.
You've never played it?
I've never played the game. I actually had to jump on YouTube and start seeing clips. I was like, oh yeah, I read that line. Just kind of doing some homework before we jumped on the phone here. So I, not to burst anyone's bubble, but I loved doing the game when I did it. I just kind of really delved into the history and the lore and the speculations of it. But I think just in the context of any character in any situation, redemption is always possible, I believe. That's just my own personal take on it. I think Riella may come across as being a bad guy or a bad person or a bad thing, whatever you want to call the creature, Riella. But I think Riella, in his heart of hearts, is a servant to Master Wiseman. So he thinks he's doing the right thing for the right reasons, for the adoration and the affirmation from his master.
Yeah.
So I think it's possible.
Yeah. What about you, Jules? Do you feel the same way?
I do. I mean, I think there should be. I just, obviously, I am not either a gamer as much as I wish I could be, although I did play it just so that I could understand, you know, because the sessions, I think, well, my sessions, I think, were about a week and a half long. So I wanted to kind of see, what did we do? Like, where is this going? I want to understand it. And then also because of the cult following behind it, it really kind of just awestruck me. And I was like, I want to understand the storyline and why is this impacting so many people? Because it just turned into a game that just was so special to a lot of people. And because it was so special, I was like, I want it to be special to me too. So I want to understand that so I can relate, right? And so with regards to redemption, I definitely think there should be a redemption. I think there should be another sequel. I don't know why there isn't. And obviously if the phone rings or the email comes in and I'm like, I'm there, hello.
Yeah.
Sure, Casey would say the same. I don't want to speak.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Jump back into the sandbox and let's go.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah.
I'm not, I can't speak on the writing aspect of where it should go or what should happen. I think that could go in a lot of different directions. I do think because of the sort of cult following behind it a bit, in terms of what sometimes some fans will reach out to me and send me kind of some messages on what their thoughts are. And, oh, wouldn't it be cool if this happened or that happened? And you know what? There's some good ideas.
Yeah.
They really have some awesome ideas that, if they were just kind of presented in a way that made sense to the higher ups that are kind of in charge of, like, okay, let's maybe create a version that's a collaborative effort of what the fans would love to see.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that
saying?
would be
Like
cool. Yeah,
that for me, I think would be something I'd love to see. Although, I'm just the talent.
Yeah.
So, but you never know. You could put it out there, and maybe someone somewhere will hear it and be like, you know what? Why not? Let's give it a shot.
Hey, Sega, are you guys listening?
Sega, are you listening?
Anyways.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But yes.
I love how Kate in the chat saying, "Oh, Rihanna could walk so Shadow could run." I thought that was fun.
Yeah, Rihanna walked so Shadow could run.
That's funny.
That is very funny. Right, Kev, why don't we get into your questions?
Yeah. So my first question is how did you envision Knight and Rihanna sounding when you were shown a picture of them, and was it different? And when they directed you, like, oh, okay, well, we want you to give them this voice. Was that different from what you were thinking in your head at the time?
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first? Rihanna. For me, okay, so I think the vision that I had for it, because I'm very, when I'm kind of developing a character or kind of just like finding a connecting factor, or factors I should say, in it, I pay very close attention to all the details. I pay attention to colors, and I pay attention to how the facial, features are looking in the pictures. But in this case scenario, there was no picture for me to look at that I was presented at the time. I know that there was a character, but it had no voice from what I understand, right?
Yeah.
Knights has been around for even longer than before I came into the picture to voice it, but it didn't have a voice, and then they decided, right? So in my understanding of it, I didn't have knowledge of the game, and so I kind of went with my gut. I didn't really know there was a picture to look at. They didn't send it. So I was given particular directions where they wanted something gender neutral, which could be male or female, right? And so that could land in different capacities, because that can mean different things to different people, which is when I got past the audition phase and then they brought me in, I got a much deeper and clearer understanding from the director of what he wanted in this character was so that whoever the player of the game could have a version of whoever they wanted it to be. If they wanted him to be female, then or her, you know what I mean? If they wanted it to be male, then it would be male. If they wanted it to be female, it could be female. But it was kind of in that middle thing, and so that was a really an important part of the direction that kept, you know, I was reminded always stay in that pocket, stay in that realm where let the players decide what they want them to be.
Yeah.
He or she or they, them, you know, it's whatever, you know, it's just fluid. And so that was kind of an interesting piece, but a very important piece to the development of that character style as we were going. But yes, in the beginning, I didn't really have a lot to go on. I just kind of went with my gut, honestly.
Yeah, I saw a message from Paw, so they really did want to stay with the gender fluid Knights canon. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, which is awesome. It's fine with me, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just something that as an actor, when you create a character that's in that kind of vein, it's important to stay in that vein, you know? Because obviously we have a tendency to go back into our natural speaking voice.
Oh yeah, I definitely feel
whatever
that
is, you know. And maybe sometimes I might talk like this, but that's not how I'm supposed to. And so I just kind of have to, you know, pinch myself or smack myself, bring it back.
Yeah.
But
I feel that.
Interesting direction.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Casey? Was it like the same thing where you weren't given a picture?
Yeah, you know, I'm trying to remember, and I can't recall for certain, but it's not uncommon to not have any type of visual aid to go off of. You just get a really brief description from the sound engineer, or if you're lucky, maybe the producers are in the room the first time around, and they're able to give you a more detailed description. I went into this completely cold, completely blind. I didn't know anything about the game. I'm trying to think. To get to the voice that I came up with, I'm thinking I might have had a visual aid. They may have had some sort of rendering or a drawing that they showed me. And for me, I'm a very visual person, so that's key for my brain to start the wheels turning and pull one of those voices out of the back of my head and mix it with something else and take a bit of this and a bit of this, and you know make the recipe for what you come up with. Yeah, but I saw Riella. Now that I see Riella, I'm thinking I must have seen a picture at some point, because the character strikes me as being, you know, kind of walking that line between masculine and feminine at times, and everything in between, from being really light and floating, obviously very ethereal, and then to becoming very, very gritty and evil at other points.
I love all the different sides of Riella.
Like a serpent. Like a serpent in the back of my mind. You know? So that was kind of my motivation for that.
Whoa, that's really cool. I love like the visual imagery that you guys like come up with for the characters and whatnot. That's like so cool. Wow. Okay, Kevin, are you ready to ask the next question? I'm tripping over my words.
Yeah, sure. So how do you two get into character when voice acting, and what was the voice directing like for the game that you voiced in? So not only Knight's Journey of Dreams, but Casey, I know you were also Sonic, and you were also in Sonic and the Black Knight and Shinobi, and Jewel, you were also in Sega Superstar Tennis as well.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go first, Jules?
Sure.
Okay. I kind of just coattailing off what I just said. As far as I'm very visual, so a picture definitely helps. But if not, then I'll just take what they're saying, the description, or obviously the dialogue itself. You can pull a lot of that inspiration just off the words on the page, and you come up with your own idea, and you'll just go out, throw out your first take, and they may love it, and they may ask you to tweak it or do it again and consider this and try this, and oh, by the way, he has this cousin or your brother, or he came from a war, or whatever the motivation may be. They give you these little bits of info along the way, in my experience. But usually I'll just throw out my knee-jerk impression of what I think they want, and it'll either be way right or way wrong, or they'll tweak me along the way. Yeah, so they pretty much gave me free reign with this one, and I think if I recall, yeah, not a whole lot of correction or direction beyond what I initially gave them.
So you were spot on.
I wouldn't say. I'm not trying to put a feather in my cap here, but no, I don't remember having to work too hard to get there, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I landed in a pretty comfortable area of what they were looking for, I think, and we just played from there.
Yeah. What about you, Jules? How do you get into character?
So for me, what's interesting, and it just kind of came to memory now, that at the time of the audition for this, as well as the recording and the callback for it and everything, I had just finished watching Harry Potter.
Oh!
So I had Hermione in mind, like as I was reading, and it just kind of, it wasn't like I planned it. It was like, oh, it's kind of similar to what I just saw her do in Harry Potter, you know, just little bits and pieces, right? So, I mean, obviously it wasn't exactly like that, but like with some of the personality and obviously the accent, right?
Yeah.
It has a British accent. Right?
Yeah.
A bit of the soft-spoken at times, but it was just, yeah, it was just kind of connecting with a bit of what I remember seeing. And I myself also was very, I think all or most artists are very visual, and kind of took bits and pieces of what I saw in her performance in terms of her character for that. And I brought some of that into what I was given. In terms of what I prepare, a lot of the times, especially in voice acting, there's not a lot of preparation, like Casey mentioned a minute ago. It's all cold. Like, it's a lot of cold reading. So a lot of the practice time is just spent on other things that you've done that you can kind of like, almost like cooking, like bring in this into the recipe that you tried this on last time for something else. That could work for this too. And, and then in terms of dialogue, I always look, well, what am I saying? Why am I saying it, and how do I feel about what I'm saying to who I'm saying it? And that really interprets whatever the dialogue is, even if I don't know the full story of what's going on. Obviously, when you're in session, they do describe it further, but when we're in the audition phase, there isn't a lot of information given. It's really just a matter of, I think, a test of, obviously, do you sound right for the part? Like, is in, you know, tonal aspects of it, is that kind of fitting for what they're looking for? But also, what can you do with your imagination? Because I mean, if we're saying a line and we're speaking to a dragon behind us, you know, that's not really happening in reality. But in our second reality, if you will, then that is truthful. So you have to kind of interpret it in that way. So it's always, what am I saying and how do I feel about it? And okay, is this moment going to be different than the next moment? You know, and just kind of play it by ear that way.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's so interesting. I think you guys already answered this one by Kevin, but why don't you like read it off anyways?
Yeah, I know Casey answered, but Jules, have you played the games that you voiced in? And if not, would you like to in the future? And that's like a part to go to both of you.
Oh,
I've played a few. Like, I've played Knights. I'm not very good at it.
Oh, you have?
I've played, yes, I have it, and I've played it a bit. I don't play it often, but I have played it, and I have played some of them, but I haven't played all of them, no. Like the Sushi Striker, I haven't played that one yet. But there's a few, yeah, or Tomb Raider, I haven't played that one yet. I don't mind playing them. I just, you know, I gotta really make an effort to collect them all and have them ready to go. But yes, I definitely want to play some of them in the future, especially the ones I haven't yet.
Oh, yeah, that would be really cool. Casey, would you like to play Knights in the future?
if I had access to it, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, it would be great. This is like going down memory lane here. But
Yeah.
I occasionally, once you do a game, they'll give you a copy of the game, but it's up to you to have the platform to play it on. And if there's, your Sega and PlayStation and all these other PS2 and PS3 and all that were game box that were coming out at the time, you can go broke just trying to have all these platforms. To play the games. That was an obstacle. Yeah, but I do have a couple in my collection, and I just don't have the platform to play them. And Knights was not one of them, though. But sure, I would, after kind of doing a deep dive here, getting ready for today, and taking a look at all the historical information out there about this game, I would love to play it.
Oh, yeah. We'd love to see it one day, maybe. Right. Kevin, why don't you go on to your next question?
Yeah, so Sega is planning on bringing back more of its franchises. If they ever approach you to voice act in one of their games again, would you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's not true.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would definitely.
Sega,
He's got to
you're
check his
listening.
calendar.
Yeah. Yep,
Sega,
calendar
if you're
schedules.
listening, you know what you must do.
Sega, please. Sega.
Call me. You have our numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I'll save my last question as a closing question because I think it makes a good closing question. So
Oh,
would you
yeah,
like to
that
go
would
into
make a-
audience Q&A.
Right, we're moving on to the pre-submitted audience questions. I received so many of these from you guys. Thank you all so much. I couldn't have come up with half of these. Y'all are so creative. I appreciate every single one of them. Right, starting off, we have a question from Jaselle. Is Riala your favorite character, or is it someone else? I think this was directed towards Casey, but are the characters you voiced your favorite characters in the game, or is it someone else?
I don't want to cop out here, but I don't really have a favorite. I love each character I do for a different reason or a different feeling I get to show, or a different range I get to express. But I wouldn't say I have a favorite, and I know that's, like I said, kind of sounds like a cop out.
No, that's a valid answer. No,
Yeah,
that's completely
I love
valid.
every character I've ever done for a different reason. So
Yeah,
it satisfies.
someone in chat said it's like picking a favorite child, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which one will you say?
Hmm. What about you, Jules? Same way?
I have to agree. Yeah, there's always something special about each character, and for me, I think what makes it even more unique is the ones that really kind of resonate with people and why they resonate with the people, to be honest. And I think that's what kind of, if I were to say that there was a favorite, I would have to say Knights is up there. Just because of how many people she or he has touched. They have touched, in ways that kind of really touched my heart, just from the stories that people have shared. It really kind of opens your eyes a little differently in the work that we do. Obviously, I love being an artist and an actor, singer, and I do it for many reasons. One, because it's just a part of who I am, and that's always been my first love. Is the artistry of it, but secondly, and I can't listing it secondly is not less important, but I think it's the most important part is that the work we do, how it affects other people and in positive ways, and that's what really it fuels my fire to keep doing it. So Knights is definitely up there, but I've had a few. I mean, I've had fun. I've had some fun ones.
Yeah, Riala is definitely my favorite. He's a kind of a comfort character to me. I just kind of see a lot of myself in him. So yeah, thank you for your service, Casey. Oh my God. Right. Next question before I turn into a giant nerd. So we have a question from Knights. Thank you for the question. Obvious question is obvious, but I would love to know if voicing Riala in Journey of Dreams was his first introduction to Knights.
Yes, it was. I think I mentioned that a little bit.
Yeah.
Definitely.
yeah.
It was my first awareness of the game and the character and all that. Yes.
Yeah, that was a quick one. Yep. All right.
Would that the same for you as well, Jules? Being first
Yes.
introduced. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's really
and then
cool.
and what's funny is for me that after the game came out, obviously I have friends in the industry as well, but they were fans of it even before I came into the picture, and they told me, they're
Oh.
like, "Wait, what now? You're the voice now? I used to play that all the time." And so I learned quickly. I was like, I had no idea this was such a cool, project. I'm like, I'm so lucky to have been a part of it. I really am. I didn't realize so. Yeah, but it was my first introduction to it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, next question. We have something from Braylon Martin. So, Casey, what was your favorite line to perform as Riala?
Yeah, I memorized all of them, by the way, so I have them all.
Oh, you did!
Really good.
Oh.
I can't pull any specific line, but I was cruising YouTube the other day and just looking at all the clips that people have strung together on these videos, and I came across one that I watched where, correct me if I'm wrong if I get it wrong, but it's very, very short and very sweet. And Riala flows into the scene, and he's got his henchman with him, and the owl is there, and he says, "Seize the traitor." He says it very. I say it very like he says it.
Seize the traitor. Yeah.
Seize the traitor.
Oh!
I reminded myself of, I remember saying that line. So,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh! That
very
was so
tricky.
cool.
one of my favorites.
How
Yeah.
about you, Jules? How about you, Jules? What was your favorite line to perform at night?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the one that immediately comes to mind after you just asked that was there's a scene, I think Knights is like talking to Riala, and they say, "Riala, you coward, let them go!" Like that really struck me. Like, I love that line, 'cause it's got so much like power and passion and love all like rolled up in one, and it's like, I'm not gonna allow you to hurt Helen, or what was the other
Will.
Will. Why was I gonna say Tony?
Tony! Oh my
Will
gosh.
and Helen. I was like, don't you dare! I don't know. Those were my favorite moments to play, and there were a few of them, but that was I'd have to say that's my favorite.
Yeah, that one's a really cool one, guys. New Knight's character unlocked.
I know. Add on. Sega, are you listening?
Sega, are you listening? Right. So next question. We have a question from Devin, also known as Riala Returns, over on Blue Sky. Thank you so much for the question. This is a really interesting one. I would have never thought of this. All right, Casey, if you remember, how early in the game development process voice recording occurred? They're wondering how you and the other voice actors ever recorded audio for. They're wondering if they recorded audio for the scrapped cutscenes in the files.
Oh, that's a great question. I don't.
Oh wait, I'm gonna have to explain this, aren't I?
Yes, please.
So there was a scrapped function in Knight's Journey of Dreams where there was a whole bunch of scrapped cutscenes found in the files, and there was a Riala race feature planned in as part of the story.
I didn't know that.
I don't recall that.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
you don't, because somebody in chat's pointing out that there's a few reused lines from those scrapped cutscenes in Sega Superstars Tennis. So yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. They can cut and splice and copy and do whatever. And yeah, I wasn't privy to any of that post-production, what they were doing. But no, that's a
They
that's a
don't
great
always
question. I have no
tell
idea.
us.
Yeah. So they probably
They don't run it by us for approval. They just go, okay,
No.
thank you.
They're just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna scrap these.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks. But that is, yeah. I'm glad I could like spew out a little bit of Knight's history. Like that's like really deep into the iceberg. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's just a little snippet of what us Knights fans like think. We're completely normal. Right. Next question. This one is from Merlina. Thank you for the question. Hello, Mr. Robertson. I'm a big fan of your work, especially Caliburn and George Woodman from Deadly Premonition. I hear a lot of voice actors say they like voicing the villains because it's a bit more fun than being a hero, and I was wondering if you felt the same way about Riala.
Yes. Next question.
That's
villains
crazy.
they're just more fun. They have more bandwidth. You know, they're just able to just go.
Oh yeah,
all ends of the spectrum. You can go
definitely.
as wild as you want, and then they pull the reins back, or they just let you run free. So, I do love a good villain.
Yeah, villains are great. What do you think, Jules? Do you think heroes or villains are more fun to voice?
I think villains are more fun.
Yeah.
Although I don't get to do as many villains. I do the sweetheart characters, I guess you could say.
You get like typecast into that.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I've had a few, but not as many. Yeah, more minor. Yeah, no, but they are fun.
Yeah,
To answer your
definitely. Villains are so
Yeah.
fun to voice. Okay. Right. The next question is from Naru. Onekin on Blue Sky. Thank you so much for the question. To Casey, are you still working in voice acting in the gaming industry? And if so, do you still find voice acting as a passion of yours? Also, I remember a friend looked for your IMDb page while you were on a short called Kragos the Dishonored. Do you have any memories working on the film?
It brings back some memories. Great question. I'm not currently. I wouldn't call myself an active voice actor right now. Although I over this past few months, surprisingly, before you guys reached out to me to be here today, I've bought the new equipment. I'm getting everything dialed in. I'm gonna get back in and start exercising out here again. It's definitely still a passion. I feel I'm rekindling it as we speak, but I'm definitely not active right now. But to be continued. Also, the movie short that I did was with a close friend of mine, and we worked at an amusement park probably 30 years ago, and we dressed up as Star Trek characters.
Wow.
I was a Klingon, and my name was Kragos. And in between our required duties of walking around and taking pictures with all the guests and, acting out these short skits in public and yelling at the top of our lungs in full makeup and wigs and costumes in 105-degree weather, we're just dripping sweat. A good friend of mine, he was a film student, and he wanted to film a kind of a guerrilla style retro film a film short that he made about Star Trek and everything that happened behind the scenes, and we filmed that this summer. I think it was 1984, 1985. That takes me way back. But my character was Kragos, and he wrote this whole script. There was very little dialogue, and it was very old-fashioned, very cool. And I'm not even sure how that ended up on IMDb.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. That's really cool. That's a really cool story nonetheless. Right. So, Jules, we do have a question. Are you also working on voice acting? And what was it like working on Sega Superstars Tennis?
So yes, I am still working currently on some things. Some have not been released yet, and some I think are already released. But regarding Sega All-Stars Tennis, I think that wasn't something I voiced specifically. I think they took clips from previously recorded, because the All-Stars Tennis was Knights, right? I think they recycled some of the dialogue that we did for the actual game, for Journey of Dreams, and then that was kind of used in that. So it wasn't something that was done separately in terms of recording for it.
I didn't know that.
Mhm.
I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because I got the message, oh, you're an all-star. I got the IMDb credit. I was like, I did? I don't
I
remember.
did that?
But okay. Yeah,
Okay.
and so that's, yeah, because I found out when y'all found out.
Yeah,
And
because
sometimes that's just how it goes. Yeah, sometimes that's how it works out. They don't always tell us everything. But I mean, there was a significant amount of dialogue that was recorded for Knights just in general. So there could have been different things for different reasons. They didn't elaborate on all the information.
Yeah.
Currently, yeah, but some other games I've recently done is Final Fantasy 14. I play Galul.
Nice.
Yeah, I play Galul Jaw as the child. Because there's an older version and the kid version. I'm the child version.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I also play his mother.
Oh.
and I forgot there's like two or three, I think 3 characters. I don't remember what the other one was. But yeah, so I'm on that one. That's currently out. And then Tomb Raider I mentioned. Dune I worked on. I think it's out or about to be out. I don't remember. That's coming out. Let's see what else. Nickelodeon Dora the Explorer. That should be out too. Yeah, so just some different things. Yeah, I don't know when they all come out, and I don't always post about them because I'm not supposed to until they are out, and then I'm like, I can't keep up with what I'm supposed to say and not supposed to say.
Oh yeah, completely understandable.
But yeah, I still have fun doing it.
Oh, that is awesome. Yeah. All right.
Hopefully me and Casey will get to work on something together again soon.
Yeah, that would be
That
really
would be
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, we could have another reuniting. Right.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Next question. All right. So this is from Cheese. Thank you for the question. To Casey, how did you react when you found out you were voicing Riala in Journey of Dreams?
What?
Actual clip from Agent Paul.
No, I was thrilled. I mean, I didn't get I didn't understand the gravity of the character and the history behind the game. But it was just to me at the time, it was just another game, and I got cast, and it was like, yippee! So, definitely very happy.
Yeah, I feel that. So, Jules, how did you react when you found out you were voicing Knights? I mean, you did say that you had like a couple friends and they were like into Knights and they were like, oh, so surprised. So,
Yeah, I mean, obviously I was excited because I didn't, again, at the time that I got the confirmation for it, I had no idea the extent of what it was going to be. I just was super excited. And a little side note, there was another game that I was supposed to work on that ended up working the same time as Knights, so I had to choose. I chose Knights.
oh, you made a good choice then.
I did. It was fun. Yeah. No, I think the other thing was like a karaoke singing game or something. Fun too, right? But I couldn't do both, so I picked this one because I was like, this one seems kind of cool.
Yeah, everyone in chat's
right.
like, you chose correctly.
Thank you. I'm glad you agree.
So many factors that could have led to different VAs. Yeah. Right. So we have a question from Crystal the Hedgehog. Thank you for the question. First off, hello. My question is, how familiar are you with some of the fan theories? Oh.
Man, I'm not very familiar with fan theories, to be
Oh.
honest. I'd love to inquire. Do tell.
Yeah. I'm sure the Knights fans would be very happy to info dump to you, me included.
Please.
Whoopsies. Yeah. Casey, you're not familiar with any of the...
No.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm not. Are there any like the top 3 theories you could run by us?
Self. Oh, so there was a scrapped boss from the first game called Self, and there are like traces of it found in the data and whatnot. There's like several nights like iceberg videos. Yeah, a lot of people are wondering about Self. They're trying to find traces of Self. Yeah, Know Thyself, the boss theme. It's in the OST for the first game.
Wow.
It never appears in the first game because obviously it was a scrap secret boss. Yeah. But yeah.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah. So that's a big thing. That's a big mystery that the Knights community is trying to solve. Yeah. There's someone called DG Valentine who's actively trying to work on that. Thank you if you see this. But yeah, that's just one of the big fan theories. I should probably stop yapping. Oh, goodness gracious. Right. So, next question. I'm just rapid firing these. So our next question is from Jack. Riala does the worm on Blue Sky. Thank you for the question. Hi, I am a huge fan of your work. My question is, do you ever see some of the fan works or fan art made by people in the Knights fandom?
I just recently did, yeah. So I like I said, I did a deep dive online and saw some of the beautiful artwork out there. So yeah, I had no idea that people were doing this for this game. So it's just amazing and very humbling.
The Knights community is so talented.
Oh, very talented. I've had some that have like DM'd me some things and I'm just in awe. I'm like, you did this? This is like, wow.
Yeah.
Like professional.
Oh,
like,
goodness.
You need to do this as your job. This is so good.
Right?
They probably do. I don't know all the backstory, but yeah, there's some amazing things that I've seen just, you know, for the sake of just doing it. And that's so awesome. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. That's so cool. I really need to get back into making like casual Knights fan art and stuff because I'm not an artist, but like I've obviously a voice act, but like I still need to get back into drawing. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Anyways,
wish I could draw.
yeah, it takes practice. It really does. Right. Next question. So, to Casey, I noticed that Riala in the Sega spin-off games sounds different compared to how he sounded in Knight's Journey of Dreams. Is there a reason as to why that's the case? This is not an insult whatsoever, by the way. I'm just curious. Big fan of your work. That's from
Great question.
EXM.
It may have been, you know, I haven't heard the files and I haven't played the games. I believe they're referring to the tennis game and then the
Yes, they're referring to
racing
the
game?
tennis game and the racing game, yes.
Okay, yeah, so the direction may have been different. I'm not sure exactly why, quite honestly, because I haven't heard them to tell you what would have been the differences.
Yeah, like your voice is a little more like, give up now, you cannot win.
Oh, more aggressive.
Oh yeah, way more aggressive, way more gremlin-like, for lack of a better word. The direction is very different. I
have an idea about why that may be the case. If they're a bunch of short one-liners, usually they're a little more intense, and that may have been where I was going with that, but I'm not quite sure because I haven't heard it. But I'll have to check after we get off the call. Just take a look.
I will be sure to post about the findings after the Q&A. Yeah. And back to the fan works, one of my moderators, Possum Toons, said, a small example of the fan art is the thumbnail that they made for the stream. Yeah, it originally just started out as a fun little doodle. But yeah. Oh,
Very cool.
goodness. If you guys look back at the stream thumbnail, yeah, that's another piece of fan work made by the community.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very talented folks out there.
Yeah, they are very talented. Right, next question from Dephonic Studio. Thank you for the question. Here are my questions for both of them. What would be the ideal dream and ideal nightmare for Knights? And same for Riala.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. The ideal dream.
Thinking very hard.
That's a tough one to answer. I'm not sure. I mean, well, because Riala is very orderly and controlled. He's, you know what I mean? Like there's like a rigid almost perfection like in his dream of sorts. I don't know the specifics about it. Whereas Knights is free and whimsical and imaginative and boundless. There's like this fluidness to that. So there could be a combination of sorts where they teach each other something. You know, where they each can, it's like a balance, like a yin and a yang. Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously we could sit and talk about it for hours.
Oh my
but
gosh.
like something to the effect where they really learn to balance each other, because it's almost like they're two polar opposites just kind of pulling. And if in a perfect dream, like there could be this beautiful disastrous masterpiece of sorts that, you know, like something that just comes out of, you know, all of their flaws, but it actually is what's needed to get to the next thing, you know?
Yeah.
They're both superheroes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but like, yeah.
Knights AU, real? Where they actually just sit down and teach each other?
Yeah.
Bowen mentioned. Oh my gosh, chat. So yeah, a lot of the Knights fans are fans of a game called Bowen Wonderworld, also made by the creators of Knights. So yeah, Naoto Oshima and stuff. So that's a little off topic, but that is. They were freaking out when you said balance.
Oh, I struck and
you struck a chord with the audience.
I struck a chord. Awesome.
Yeah.
I like striking things.
Yeah. Okay, next question. So this next question is from Anna Ellis. Thank you for the question. So, what makes Knights in Riala different from other roles you've had?
Do you want to go first, Casey? Or...
Sure. I'm thinking here. Riala's just can be anything, and just had a lot of freedom to just discover, since it's not based in any sort of reality as we know it. So, yeah, just a lot of freedom with the character, as opposed to playing some sort of general in the army who's blowing up a mech warrior across the field. So yeah, I'd say freedom. They pretty much took the reins off. Let me go.
That is awesome. You got to like do your own thing. What about you, Jules?
The difference? Well, one thing that was a little bit different, and it's not always done in other things that I've worked on. Obviously, the character, the dynamic of the character is also very like free and whimsical. Just things we've talked about, and what they stand for, right, and what they represent is just, I think, beautiful in a lot of ways, because it has touched so many people, and that's what I love about it. But the other aspect of it, so when I was recording the dialogue, there was a bit of freedom. I mean, in my session, I don't know if Casey, if you had a dialect coach or no in your session.
I did not.
You did not. So my dialect coach fell asleep. He didn't have to correct me so much. So he just like, I'm like, I don't know why I'm here. I'm like, well, it's nice to have you here, just in case. But so that was kind of funny. But the thing I was gonna mention is I was like the facial expressions as I was reading the lines were recorded, because the character, it was just like a stick figure, so to speak. It wasn't filled in. It didn't really have any facial features from what I was using to record to picture. It was just, okay, well, the character comes in at this moment, and then now you read the lines, but they were recording my face so that the artists later, or the animators, could incorporate some of those facial movements in the scenes where those lines were spoken.
Oh, that's awesome!
Yeah, and so that's kind of not always done in other projects I've worked with or with other characters. So that was kind of interesting and kind of fun at the same time. I don't think they made Knights look like me. It was just for the expression aspect of it and the emotionalization of how that configured with what was being said, you know?
Yeah. New Knights Lost Media, chat said. That must explain some of their sassy expressions. Oh yeah. A lot of the fandom has noticed that Knights is very, very sassy.
I am. I mean, yes, they are. Well, because I am very expressive when I speak, just in general. Like, I don't mean to be. That's just how I'm wired.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh no, I'm the same way. I get that.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. So yeah, now you know, a little tidbit for you.
Yeah, that's really cool. Right, next question from Ben, Apple Juicy on Blue Sky. Thank you for the question. For both of them, how do you feel about the current legacy of Knights and to see a community of people who still love the work you've done for it after so long? Journey of Dreams has been my favorite game even after almost 2 decades.
Wow. It's been a long time.
Yeah. I'm just awestruck that the community is so involved in the game and the history and the theories and the artwork and everything. It's really given it another level of, wow, we did something that's really appreciated and we were a part of something bigger. And to see that the only reason we do stuff like this is because people like it and want it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So if there weren't fans, there'd be nothing to make fans for. So
Right.
it's really great. I'm really grateful.
I definitely feel like one of the best parts about voice acting is getting to touch people's hearts and seeing how people like react to stuff. Like, thank you, you changed my life, this character saved my life. You know, those are like really meaningful words to hear. Definitely.
Yeah, and it's all appreciated because at the end of the day, we all have a version of struggles are all around the world. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just everyone goes through things, and then positive things as well. And so I think it's a good thing to have a community that kind of has this unique understanding of all of that. And I feel like this game in particular, even compared to other games, obviously each game has a different kind of dynamic around it and how it reaches people in different reasons. But this one in particular, with Knight's Journey of Dreams, I feel it brings out the best in people for some reason. And I think it brings a unity aspect of it. There's just something that intertwines, like you said, people's hearts to come together, and like there's this unique understanding and a compassion for that community that they just get it. You know, and I think it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's done so well, and so many people have taken a liking to it and are just connected. You know, it's just something, there's a connection to it and with it, and it's beautiful. So I appreciate all the stories, and I love that it has an impact on people in that way.
Yeah. What about you, Casey? Do you have a couple words for the Knights community?
But just to reiterate, definitely grateful and humbled by the outpouring of interest and appreciation and connection, and being able to identify with the themes in the game. It's really touching, and I just was completely unaware before this, so it really gives me a sense of appreciation.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's a
right.
lot of people in the chat saying, oh, Knights was a very big comfort character to me. They helped get me through a lot, and that's just wonderful to see as well.
Aw,
Yeah.
that makes my heart happy.
I said this earlier, but Riala is a really big comfort character to me. Same with Knights, but like, yeah, Riala. Yeah, Riala is just a very special character to me. Oops, I'm Riala posting again. Oopsies. Right, next question. So this one is from Infernus32. Thank you for the question. Casey, have you ever played the video game Persona 5? It's another game with heavy Jungian psychology motifs. I highly recommend you try it out. And for Jules, what's your favorite part about Knights as a whole? Gameplay, characters, or plot?
I have not played the game Persona 5. I don't know anything about it.
Oh.
Is it similar to Knights?
I'm not much of a Persona fan. Chat, help me out. Can someone explain Persona 5 for me while we get to Jules' answer on the question? What's your favorite part about Knights as a whole? Gameplay, characters, or plot?
I kind of think it's a combination of all of them. Honestly, I love the characters. Definitely the characters is number one, I would say. But the plot in the essence of how because of the plot and the characters that are connecting people to love it so much, right? And to make it just have this impact on them in positive ways.
Yeah.
So I definitely think the top two would be like characters and plot for sure.
Yeah, I see. So chat is telling me Persona 5 is an RPG. Yeah, it's an RPG game. Yeah. It has this other world called the Metaverse. Palaces are based on a bad person's heart, so maybe that's similar to how the Dream Worlds act in Journey of Dreams based on the Visitor's Heart, because Nighttopias are a reflection of the Visitor's Heart. So yeah. That's kind of like what Persona 5 is. But yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Right, next question from Lex. Thank you for the question. For Casey, I loved how Disney villain your performance was. And for Jules, I always wondered if you were going for a classic Peter Pan performance with Knights. Also, your take on yelling, Helen! Always hit me hard. It was so good. Yeah.
Oh, that is so funny. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. Let's see. Well, you want to go first, Casey, since the first part is yours.
Yeah. Well, I would think it's a possibility. I would assume that they'd be teaming up against Master Wiseman. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
Master Wiseman, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think they care for each other on a level that may not always be obvious. I think there's a connection and a concern for each other, even though they're trying to get each other to do what they want them to do, and sometimes the most vicious of ways. But I think there is still that connection underneath it that bonds them. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah, they are siblings after all, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I was gonna say it's similar to like Sonic and Eggman teaming up. Like even though they don't like each other, they will do it for like when it comes to the greater good. So to say.
Oh yeah, definitely. Right. So for both of them, do you guys think that Knights and Riala would ever team up?
I don't see why not.
Oh.
I think it would be interesting to see. I think it would be a plot twist for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or if later on it turns out they were always on the same team and just
They didn't realize it.
yeah, they didn't realize it. Yeah. I don't know. It could go in a different direction, but I think I wouldn't be opposed to seeing that. That'd be kind of interesting.
Oh Oh yeah! Like what
Kinda
we said
fun.
about the Riala redemption earlier, that would be like really, really fun to see. Wake up, chat!
Yes.
New theory dropped. That's crazy. Oh goodness! Right.
And yes to the Peter Pan performance, by the way. Yes.
Yeah.
There's some similarities to Peter Pan in Knights for sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, next question. This one is from Red. Thank you for the question. A question for both of them, since Jewel is also joining in. What part of the voice recording process was their favorite, if they remember?
Oh, I'll go ahead, I guess. For me, it was just the exploration. The beginning stages are always the most exciting for me, just as I mentioned, with character creation and just going places with it and pushing the boundaries, trying to find out exactly what the story needs, and going off of the dialogue. And occasionally, they'll let you, if you say a line in a different way than is written, and it works. It depends on who the writers are, who the producer is, but sometimes they'll go with your version instead.
Ooh,
It
yeah.
enhances the story. If you accidentally say something off the cuff or something that just needs to be there. And other times they'll tell you to shut up and read it as written.
That's true.
That is true.
Things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For me, I definitely have to agree with. I love the development of the character stage, and in my case with Knights in particular, it was developing a character that I at the time didn't do very much of, and that's the gender neutral tone. So for me, it was exciting to kind of work on an aspect that's a bit more challenging in the way of really, it takes a lot more focus to kind of stay in that pocket. I mean, I've done it so much now since then that it's not, I don't even think about it anymore, but at the time it was very new. It wasn't something I was used to doing, and so that was kind of exciting. And also, the recording of the facial expressions, and that was kind of, it was a combination of those things that was exciting.
Yeah. Because I could, there was like Riala Returns on Twitter. They posted some like alternative camera angles, and the whole like cutscenes were like body acted. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that was really interesting. Like you could actually see the body actors like doing stuff as the camera is like, they did some stuff with the camera. I think that's cool.
Yeah, it was interesting. Did you have that as well, Casey, by the way? Did they record your facial expressions?
I think they did. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I can't recall with certainty, but it's
Yeah, it's been
ringing
a
a
while.
bell. Yeah, it has.
Oh.
Just a little bit.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, no, I don't remember exactly, but I wouldn't be surprised because I remember doing it in several other games.
Oh, I see. That is very cool. All right. So next question. This one is from Soul. Thank you for the question. For Jules, do you have any favorite memories of when you did the recording for Knights?
Do I have favorite memories when I did that? I think just recording as a whole was a fun memory, and meeting director who didn't speak English from Japan, and just having the translator kind of the communication of everything was very precise and very how do I put it, just to the T, it was all just like, okay, I gotta get this right. It's gotta be done the way it needs to be done. And I was just in awe of, like, it was a big kind of production, honestly, to get it done. But at the time, again, I didn't realize, I'm like, because I'd done games prior, but it was a different kind of experience as opposed to this one. So there's a lot of fun memories.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, question for Casey. How do you feel about being remembered as the voice of Riala compared to other roles you've played?
I feel great just to be remembered.
Yeah.
At all. No, just like I said, it sticks in the minds and hearts of the players and the gamers and people like the community. I'm just, like I said, grateful. I'm glad I could put something out there that really connects with people on so many different levels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is really cool. Thank you. Right, next question. This one is from Corby Days on Blue Sky. Thank you for the question. Hey Casey, how does it feel to voice Riala? What kind of mindset did you need to get into to truly capture his personality? Yeah.
It feels a little creepy. I have to go to a.
You did talk about like the serpent mindset, so yeah.
Slithery, kind of just down in there. And,
Ooh.
Yeah, so I go there in my brain. And, I go to creepy self. I tap him on the shoulder and say, "Hey, you want to play for a while?" But
do you want to play a game with me, visitor?
That's where I go. I physicalize it. I kind of get my shoulders forward and hunched a bit, and kind of arch my back, or curl my back forward. So I'm kind of like a question mark. So I'm pretty physically driven when it comes to my voice performances. So a lot of it comes from my body. My voice follows my body, and so that's my crazy way of getting down.
Yeah, retreating into the snake mindset for optimal performance. That's what someone in chat said.
Yeah, my lizard brain. Yeah.
Lizard brain. That's crazy.
How about you, Jules? How did it feel to voice Knight, and what kind of mindset did you need to get into to capture their personality?
A lot of it had to do with Hermione being in my head from Harry Potter. I really kind of channeled her a lot with the personality of a Peter Pan, kind of, if you will, and just kind of lived in that space and just that floaty, whimsical kind of feeling. Because obviously he's not an aggressive character. It's just a light and kind of loving, fluffy kind of character. So that's what I did. I channeled Harry Potter.
Yeah, because I remember chat comparing your like Dua Liza to the like Leviosa, you know?
Oh, right.
Yeah, they did compare that. Okay, next question. From Jester, entomologist. Very clever name. Thank you for the question. For both, do you think Knights and Riala got along pre-Knights' rebellion, or do you think that their personalities clashed too much to have a functional relationship, even as twin siblings?
I would like to think that they got along and then had irreparable rift in their relationship, but like I said before, they're still connected, and they still care for each other, even though they want to tear each other's throats out. So that's my take.
I see. Right. What about you, Jules?
I mean, it's kind of tough to kind of speculate in the sense because they are so kind of at each other's throats a lot of the time. But aren't all siblings that way?
Aren't all siblings that way?
I would like in the perfect world for it to be a phase, if you will. Like maybe it's just a phase that they're going through, and eventually they will get along and you know, recover whatever hurt past actions that took place to get them to be at odds for so long, and find some kind of common ground. I don't know. It would be interesting to see a different kind of dynamic between them. You know, like we talked about earlier, where they are on the same team. I wouldn't mind seeing that, even if it's a sequence of just a short dream.
Yeah, even if
you know
it's
what I mean,
like a
where
temporary.
they're both kind of a temporary, like they're both, you know, in different locations, and they're both wishing that. I wonder what it would be like if, you know, our worlds were different in the sense of how we operate within them, and if we, you know, didn't hate each other or didn't try to hurt each other, and then they wake up and it's over.
Yeah.
You know, like just so we could get a snippet of what that would feel like for a short minute.
Sega, give us pre-betrayal nights in Reala and my life is yours. That's what someone said. I need
funny.
this. Yeah, right. Next question. This is from another one of my close friends, Man of Fandoms. Thank you so much for your question. For Casey, from what you can recall, who did you have more fun voicing? Reala in Journey of Dreams or Caliburn in Sonic and the Black Knight?
Which of my children do I love more? You know what? From memory, I'm not just saying this because we're on a call talking about all this, but I would say Rihala, because it was just so much more fantastical. I know the idea of a talking sword is kind of out there too. But,
Yeah.
This Caliburn was more very controlled, very very straight-laced, and you fool, all that.
Yeah.
So it just had a lot more, bigger playground with Rihala, and so I really appreciated that and enjoyed it more if I had to pick.
And besides, who doesn't love the villain characters? Am I right?
I
You
know.
are correct.
Riala sweep, the chat says. All right.
How about you, Jules? Which of the, I guess, who did you have more fun voicing amongst your characters?
Like for Sega.
In nice or just in general?
Just in general, because I believe you played other voices too, besides Knights. Is that right for Sega franchises?
Right. Let's see if was it Kira?
I think it was Gum and.
Yeah, didn't you voice Gum in Sega Superstars Tennis?
It's been a while. I don't remember. Maybe? Yes, probably. And I will be honest, and I hate to say this, but sometimes they're a blur sometimes, because I'll go in and usually it's a confidential project. So I go in and I record it and I'm super hyper focused on what we're doing and what needs to be done. And then I kind of trained my brain to forget about it after I leave, because I'm not supposed to talk about it anyway until after a while. And then by the time the while comes where I can't talk about it, I forgot. So.
Oh yeah, I just checked your IMDb page. Were you the voice of Fina in Skies of Arcadia?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was that too.
Yeah,
I
there was that one too.
I know you also did Alex Kidd. That was the other character I was thinking of, and Sega Superstar Tennis.
Yeah, I mean, they all have a different place in my heart. It's again like, which child do I love better? Honestly, it depends on my mood. I don't know. Sometimes I'm feeling like Knights. Like I connect to Knights because so many reasons, and the others as well. They were, lighter characters in different how do I put it? Lighter in the sense of they weren't as involved, I think, as like how Knights is. You know what I mean? Like Knights is everywhere and it's
Everyone, everything.
everyone, everything. Exactly.
Yeah.
And Fina is a beautiful character to play that I enjoyed playing as well. But it was different. It's just a different animal, so to speak, right? Like, do I like the puppy or do I want the kitty? So it's like, well, sometimes I want to play with the puppy and occasionally the kitties later. But they're both special in different ways, so I can't say I liked one more than the other, to be honest. But yeah, they all bring out a different kind of version of myself as well, because I'm bringing a different kind of experience, and also my imagination is pulling different things into what we're creating in that moment, so
Yeah.
I know there was another audience question. I believe it's one more. Hopefully I'm pronouncing this name right. Emerald. They asked to Jules, did you ever change your version of Dream? And if so, can we have it?
Oh yeah, the Dreams version. Have you ever sung Dreams before?
No, I haven't. I would love to. I
Oh my
would definitely
gosh.
not be opposed to it. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to be honest.
Oh.
It wouldn't, yeah, it would be a matter I'd have to ask, I think, permissions. Like, for example, I sang a song that was on the Nickelodeon show called Pinky Malinky. And I think it's episode 8, but the song was like loved by a lot of people that they're like, is it gonna come out full, in full version and this and that? And I spoke to the folks at Nickelodeon and their hands were tied. Like they don't allow, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of tough when
Yeah.
people like something and you'd love to do it. I mean, obviously I would record that one as well. Like I think it was a good song. I would definitely not be opposed to it. I just would have to look through the channels to see if that's even if I'm even allowed to.
Everybody's
I don't
like
wanna get in
freaking
trouble.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
If
love
you
to see
ever
it if you ever
do,
got
please
perms.
send it. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, if you ever do, please do send it to us. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I would definitely do that. I'm gonna ask. I'll see.
Yeah.
Something to figure out.
I'm pretty
Good
sure
question.
Sega would be all right with something like that. That's what one
I
of
would
the
hope
chat
so.
members. Yeah, because they're like
Yeah.
pretty open to fan works and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
That
I'll
would
look
be-
into it just to double check. But yeah. To be continued.
Yeah, Sega, if you're listening.
Yeah, Sega. One more note.
Yeah.
So my very last question to you both. So we grew up playing these games, and now they're the next generation of fans who are going up now. What would you like to say to them?
Well, keep, I think, enjoying the game. I think the game is timeless, first of all. So I think no matter how many generations ahead or behind, it's gonna carry a weight that I feel is timeless, honestly. I mean, obviously, hopefully, there will be sequels and things to come. We shall see. It hasn't happened yet, but you never know. And I would just say enjoy it and connect to it in the way that makes you feel good. And hopefully it inspires you in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. What about you,
Very well
Casey?
said. Yeah, I don't have much more to add to that. That's beautifully said. Yeah, just keep on keeping on. Just game
Yeah.
and play and
I guess-
I just oh, go ahead.
I guess I should kind of. Oh, you can keep going, but like I was going to make a closing statement, but you can go on. Sorry.
Oh, I don't really have much more to add. I'm just stream of consciousness here.
No,
I
you're
just
good.
really appreciate the opportunity to speak about all this and connect with Jules and both of you and the community, and yeah, just keep on doing what you're doing.
Yeah. I think. So I just wanted to say I grew up with Sega Superstars Tennis, so yeah, thank you so much. You both have been like a very big part of my life ever since I was a small child, and it's just kind of surreal to be doing all of this, and I'm just kind of flustered right now.
Aw.
You know? But yeah, this is a dream come true. What I really like most about Nights in Reala is that whenever you go to sleep, you can meet them in your dreams, you know? I think that is the best part of these characters, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, they're like the only game characters you can like actually meet. That's like so cool to me. Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys for doing this Q&A with me. Thank you, chat, for being super duper supportive. I guess I should talk about my next stream tomorrow to close this out. Thank you. I 1,000 times over. Thank you to Kevin for co-hosting with me. This Q&A would not have happened without your planning and assistance. So Kevin, I'm just 1,000 times over. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm glad to help.
Yeah, and thank you, Jules and Casey, for doing this with me. I would love to do this again in the future. I would definitely love to like keep in contact. Hopefully, once I step up in the voice acting road, we can work on a future project together. That would be fantastic.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And let us know anytime. Thank you for reaching out. It's always nice to hear,
Thank you.
you know, from you guys.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to close out by listing off tomorrow's stream at 5 p.m. Eastern time. I am going to be playing web fishing, and I'm going to be doing like a post Q&A yap session as well. So if you want to come to that, feel free to. Yeah. But that is all for today. As always, make sure you guys stay vibrant, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye-bye.